Welcome to our video on the upcoming UFC Fight Night, featuring the bantamweight showdown between Petr Yan and Merab Dvalishvili. These two fighters are among the best in the division, and this fight promises to be an exciting and high-level matchup. In this video, we'll take a closer look at both fighters and analyze their strengths and weaknesses, as well as their previous performances leading up to this fight. So, without further ado, let's dive into our analysis of Yan versus Dvalishvili. With this analysis, we will first be taking a look at Petr Yan and his recent form, then we will have a look at Dvalishvili, and finally, we will be making our predictions as to how we believe this fight will go. Petr Yan. Petr Yan is a former UFC bantamweight champion with a record of 16-4. He is a well-rounded fighter with excellent striking and grappling skills. Yan has shown incredible power in his hands, with 10 of his wins coming by knockout.
And has not been knocked out before. Oh, and he goes down again! That's it! Wow!
Admit, he's not going to tap, he's not going to give up like that. And that'll do it! Petr Yan!
He also has a strong wrestling base and has shown the ability to control opponents on the ground. Despite the 4 losses on his record, Yan has very few holes in his game. All of his losses have come either from disqualification, his controversial loss to Aljamain Sterling where he was disqualified for an illegal knee strike in UFC 259.
Pressing on the head here, though.
That's illegal.
This was a fight most commentators believe Yan was winning comfortably, or narrow split decision losses. The 3 split decision losses Yan has experienced were against Magomed Magomedov early in his career and more recently in the UFC against Aljamain Sterling in their UFC 273 rematch, and against one of the biggest draws in the sport, Sean O'Malley, in UFC 280. Despite the loss, Yan has proven himself to be one of the best fighters in the division. His recent losses to Sugar Sean O'Malley and Aljamain Sterling were interesting because they showed very different aspects of Yan's game. Against O'Malley, Yan controlled the center of the octagon against the larger opponent with excellent use of his kicking, both low kicks and body kicks. His head movement made his a tough target to hit despite Sean O'Malley's reach advantage. His dominance in the center of the octagon, coupled with some well-timed takedowns, make it hard for us here at Brute Force MMA to see how the judges couldn't have scored the fight 2-0 for Petr Yan heading into the 3rd round. The 3rd round was taken by O'Malley with some excellent strikes which Yan had to weather. As Chael Sonnen said, O'Malley lost the fight but won the decision, a statement we wholeheartedly agree with. The rematch fight against Aljamain Sterling in UFC 273 was a very different affair. In the fight, it was clear to see that Sterling brought his A-game and gave Yan a lot of trouble with his ground game in particular. Sterling controlled Yan at will on the ground, in particular during long stretches of the 2nd and 3rd rounds. Merab Dvalishvili will be looking at back tapes of UFC 273 and see huge potential to exploit a few of the Russian's weaknesses. Merab Dvalishvili. Merab Dvalishvili is a rising star in the bantamweight division with a record of 15-4. He is a dominant wrestler and has shown excellent grappling skills in his fights. Dvalishvili has won his last 8 fights in a row, with 7 of those wins coming by decision. Dvalishvili's most recent win was a dominant decision victory over Jose Aldo. He showed impressive takedown ability and control on the ground and was able to wear down his opponent over the course of the fight. In Merab's fight against Marlon Moraes, the fight was almost over in the 1st round. Dvalishvili was very hittable for Moraes as he demonstrated with both low kicks and strikes to the head and body. Merab was dropped twice and had to hang on for dear life to survive the round. In UFC 278 against Jose Aldo, Dvalishvili was much more controlled and dominant, although Aldo's strikes were landing with consistency early in the fight, especially strikes to the head and body and low kicks. Petr Yan will be looking forward to this opponent, who appears to be very hittable and does not have any kind of reach advantage over him. Dvalishvili's wrestling will be a key factor in his matchup against Yan. Analysis: Yan and Dvalishvili have contrasting styles, with Yan's striking and Dvalishvili's grappling being their respective strengths. Yan will be looking to keep the fight standing and use his powerful striking to damage Dvalishvili. Dvalishvili, on the other hand, will be looking to take the fight to the ground and control Yan with his wrestling. Another aspect that may come into play is the length of the fight. There is no doubt that Merab Dvalishvili is one of the UFC's most formidable endurance freaks. Even after weathering brutal storms, the Georgian always seems to be fresh and ready to impose himself in the final rounds. Petr Yan will be looking to strike hard, strike often, and strike early with Merab. Yan is used to having to close the distance with a taller, rangier fighter. Without that problem, we believe that what is going to happen in this fight night will be nothing short of an onslaught from Yan. We believe the fight could look a lot like the first round against Moraes, except Yan will have the fight IQ to ensure he finishes the job and doesn't allow the machine a chance to recover and get back into the fight. If Yan can keep the fight standing and avoid being taken down, he will have a significant advantage with his strike. However, if Dvalishvili is able to take Yan down and control him on the ground, he will have a strong chance of winning the fight. Conclusion: the matchup between Petr Yan and Merab Dvalishvili is a fascinating one, with two of the best bantamweight fighters in the world going head-to-head. This fight has the potential to be a classic striker versus grappler matchup. Fans can expect an exciting and high-level fight between these two talented fighters, and we can't wait to see who comes out on top. Let us know in the comments below. For the record, we at Brute Force MMA are predicting a stoppage. Petr Yan will finish the fight somewhere between the second half of the second round and the first half of the third round. His ability to hit Merab early and often will ensure that he finds the strike that will put Dvalishvili on his back. How do you think the fight will unfold? Have we focused on the key areas, or are there aspects of either Yan or Dvalishvili's games that we haven't even considered? Let us know. Whatever the outcome, this fight is sure to be a scorcher. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more MMA content.